Hey, it's Mark with the Scotch Test Dummies, and this is a blind quick hitter, but I'm going to be honest with you. Battery died, and I've already done it, and I'm going to redo it, but now I know what it is. So this is Sam Houston Bourbon. Here's what I did do. I picked out that it was bourbon. I picked out that it had a woody open, and that I thought at the time it was a rye mash bill. So it is bourbon. I'm going to describe it here in a second, but I've done all this and there's no point doing a little fakery. No point. So Sam Houston, 15-year bourbon, 51.5. Oh, I did say it was like 50% ABV. You're just going to have to trust me. It happened. So those that don't know, I do these blind quick hitters. Samples from the Beaver generally. I don't know what they are. They could be Scotch, bourbon, sometimes rum, sometimes sherry. Sometimes I look like an idiot. Sometimes the battery dies and it dies early. So I can't even save the show and I reshoot it. So different hat. Scott's not here. He should be shooting some independent shows soon that will go on the channel. And we hope to do some lives and film some and then post them and post them and post. Let's try this again. Yeah, when I originally smelled it, I couldn't tell right off the bat what it was. Taste, it was no doubt bourbon, virgin oak barrel, heavier wood influences, some lacquer flavors, some vanilla, and then kind of these rye notes, not quite pepper, but kind of a spice working through. And it comes in at that 51.5. I thought it was a 50% ABV when I tasted it. So, good. Probably not something I would search out just because I don't like, it's not a heavy wood influence though. So, but it's still very tasty. The other thing I talked about, and it was gold, baby, was that my wife and I are so kind of fed up with the current movies, like the modern movies. The stories seem to suck. So I came up with the idea that we would pick an actor, in this case Al Pacino, and we would go watch the older movies. Now I've seen Godfather Part 1 and 2. We've seen Scarface a long time ago. We went and watched Carlito's Way. My wife's Puerto Rican, so he's playing this Puerto Rican ex-con that just did 5 years. Sean Penn plays his lawyer, scummy coke-addicted lawyer that got him out. And he's just trying to kind of go straight. But it's like the barrio keeps pulling him back in. Great movie. We watched that, enjoyed it. She said, I like this idea of watching an actor kind of through, you know, in the 70s and 80s and 90s with Heat. We'll get to Heat at some point. But last night we watched Scent of a Woman. HOOAH! HOOAH! So Al Pacino got the Academy Award for this. If you haven't seen it, it's phenomenal. The synopsis is basically there's this young kid that's gotten a scholarship to go to like a private fancy high school. He's a witness of something, and basically they're trying to get him to roll over on his buddies. Now that's a bit of a side story. In the meantime, he's making extra money by watching over this retired blind lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army who's bitter and angry. And instead of watching over him at his house, they end up heading into New York City, and all these cool little stories happen. It's kind of a mentorship, yet the lieutenant colonel is kind of having his last hurrah. If you haven't seen it, it is a wonderful story. And I would encourage you to, you know, I want to do the same thing with Jack Nicholson. You know, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We've already seen, the Noir. What the heck was it called? Oh my God, he's a PI in LA. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, and it's awesome. So we're going to do this with multiple actors, but right now we're on Al Pacino, and it's good. The acting's phenomenal. The writing, unbelievable. Directing, great. We'll see if there's something, and it's kind of nice to see these period pieces. Like in Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino plays a character that's saying all kinds of like it's very surface level on his love of women. And it doesn't shy away from that because you're getting to know this kind of damaged soul and then getting to see the redemption at the same time. Beautiful. I mean, it's just so well done. And the idea that people like this colonel don't exist is a joke. Of course, there's people of all different types out there. So, and the idea that he would be offensive, yeah. Matter of fact, in this movie, he says stuff where Charlie, the character he's with, is like, oh, there's a Thanksgiving dinner scene with his brother that's brutal. It's uncomfortable. It feels like you're there, and the black sheep of the family showed up to Thanksgiving, and it sucks. And it's perfect, and it's painful, and that's what a movie's so good. What isn't painful is Sam Houston 15-year bourbon 51.5, even though this is the second time I'm tasting it, and you didn't get to see all the cool stuff where I was sussing out information blind. This is what happens, baby. Scotch it. You Scotch gods. Sláinte, dummies. Kind of sucks with just me doing that. HOOAH!